Good morning, traders. Hope you guys are having a good start to your morning so far. Markets are a little bit on the red side today. Looks like it's going to be more of an inside day, more of consolidation. I also looked into doing the live trading. I just have to wait for YouTube to approve my live stream application. I guess I didn't know that you had to submit an application to do live streaming, but so I submitted that. That's all set. So we'll be doing that probably within probably next week or the week after. I just have to get it all set up on Fidelity's side. But let's get into the technical review. So the big thing that I'm going to be watching for today we'll start with Apple. There we go. So the big thing I'm going to be watching on Apple is a possible gap fill trade at, well, you have 191.24 as a gap fill trade. Let's see how we're doing pre-market. So pre-market looks like we're coming back up at 189.78. So I'm not really interested in a gap fill trade on Apple unless you get to 191.24. If you get to 191.24, I would look for a rejection there. As always, just make sure you let price action and volume confirm the trade before you enter. But that's what I'm going to be watching for on Apple. So for today, let's just say we get above 191.70, then I would definitely be interested in watching 193. If we reject 189.78, watch 187.47. On Microsoft, the big level to watch is going to be that 366.78 level. If we get a bounce off of that, then I would watch a gap fill trade at 369.14. If you reject 369.14, look for a move back down to 366. That would be a nice price target. Or you could use 361.81 as a price target. As you can see, there's some nice support there. Now, if we break down 366.78 and push down lower, I would look for support at 364 and 362.19. I'm more interested in 362.19 personally. And if we get below 362.19, then I'll start to draw in some more levels for Microsoft. I just don't see it dropping below there personally. NVIDIA, so what I'm going to be watching on NVIDIA, let's see how we're doing pre-market. I'm not really interested in taking trades on NVIDIA just because their contracts are too expensive, for those who don't know. But what I'm going to be watching on NVIDIA for today is going to be to see if 454 still holds up as a resistance level. If we get above 454 and hold it until market close, that'll definitely be a very bullish sign. Could be a double bottom reversal to the upside. But if we get below 54 and hold it and it acts as resistance today, I'd watch 439 and 421 the next few days. On Meta, the big thing to watch on Meta is going to be that 320.02 level. We could get a gap fill trade there. If we continue to pump higher, watch 323, 324.82 for another gap fill trade. I would scalp Meta if we hit this and it hits my criteria. It moves back down to 318. That would be a nice scalp move. What I would also be interested in watching is if we get below 318.46. Let's see where we are pre-market actually. Yeah, so if we hold below 318.46, then I'd watch 312 possibly. Again, I only take gap fill trades off the Magnificent 7 just because it has the highest probability chance of working out. I don't like to take my support and resistance trades off the Magnificent 7. I like to stick to QQQ for that specifically. Then on Amazon, what I'm going to be watching is I'm going to be watching a possible rejection of 143.74. If we get above 143.74, then I would watch it move to 144.84 for a possible gap fill back down to 143.74. I just expect it to be very choppy today, considering that we got FOMC next week. So I think people are going to start. I think the markets are going to start consolidating, getting a little crazy. And I think FOMC is going to determine the next leg up, or if we get a double top reversal to the downside. But I'd definitely be interested in 143.74. If you reject that, then I'd watch you move back down to 141.80 or 142 on Amazon. On Tesla, I'm not really interested in a gap fill. I believe that last time I checked, they were pretty much flat. So we're at 233.35, and yesterday's close was what? Yeah, it's not enough. The risk to reward on the trade like that would not be great. But what I'm going to watch on Tesla is if we break below 232, it's going to get ugly. I think that you get a move back down to 226.42 and 219. As you can see here, price action greatly respects that 232. So if If Tesla breaks below 232, it's going to get ugly, but I would really be interested to see if we could hold that as support and move up to 243.14. But because of FOMC next week, I believe Tesla is just going to consolidate along with everything else. On Google, what I'm going to be watching there is going to be to see if 128.05 holds up. If it does, then watch it move to 130. Let's see how we're doing pre-market. Yeah, so it looks like it's almost, it wants to create a double bottom possibly at 128. If you break below 128, let's see what we got here. So below 128, the level I would be really interested in watching is, see if we can find a high confluence level. I would say 126.46 would be a good one. It's also a gap fill. On top of it, it was major support and resistance multiple times. So if you break below 128.05, I would watch 126.46. And I'm just going to put this in. Let me just make sure I got the exact level right. We're going to mark it out in orange. So we're going to put that to 45. I like to mark my gap fill levels out on that because I keep a separate screen of the Magnificent Seven to watch for the gap fill trades, and then I keep on this main screen that you see right now, I keep SPY and QQQ on that. But as of lately, I'm not really liking SPY as much. Personally, QQQ has been more the way to go. I noticed that my levels are respected a lot more on the Qs than they are on SPY. I don't know why that is. If you guys would like to leave a comment, tell me maybe why it is. That'd be great. But just something I noticed. So on SPY, what I'm going to be watching is 456.69 as a possible gap fill level. Let's see where we are pre-market. So yeah, that might play out nicely. So I'd watch that 456.69 level. Main rejection I would watch is 456.26. And then if you get below that and you get a rejection, I'd watch it move back down to 454 and 454.50 on SPY. On the Qs, the big thing to watch there is going to be the 383 support. If we could hold 383, I think that we can get a move back up to 386 today. If we can reclaim 386 and stay above 386 on the daily, that'll definitely be very bullish, and I would expect to move to 388 personally. If you guys weren't tuned into yesterday's video, I bought $15,000 worth of QQQ. And on my main target with that is going to be 393 and 394 with a stop loss below the 21 EMA on the daily. If we break below 383 today and close it at 383, then I might look to get into SQQQ and go short on it. Just something I'm looking at. And then on, let's see, there's one other I want to go over. Then AMD, the big thing to watch on AMD for today is going to be if we could hold 117. Let's flip out to the daily. If we could hold 117 and maintain that, then I'd watch 119. You have a possible gap fill trade at 118.57. But it all depends on the pre-market, because if we continue to be at 117.64, I'm not going to be really interested. But if we open like right down here or something, we get pushed down, then that would be a nice gap to possibly trade. So I'll watch 118.57 for a gap trade. But that's what I'm going to be watching today.